Hello, my name is Barry. I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Christianity Explained. I have a question for you. Have you ever ridden on a tandem bike? If you don't know what that is, it's really quite simple. That is, if you've seen it. You ever heard the phrase, a bicycle built for two? That's what a tandem bike is. It's a bike that's specially built for multiple riders. One person on a bike built for two. One person sits in the driver's seat, the front on the front seat, and that person's in control. He or she will guide the bike and go wherever he or she, if the driver wants to go. Then you got the back seat, and that's the one, and that's the seat I was sitting in when I went for my first ride on one of those things. It was a trip. It's, if I'm recalling, it was back when I was around 10, 12 years old, uh, more than 40 years ago. Of the Camp Marcella, and we would ride around the beautiful campus or whatever the place was a long time ago. And I would sit in the back seat. One of the camp counselors or whoever they were, whatever they're called these days, they would sit in the front. Usually they had the much better eyesight. I'm kind of nearsighted, but I can ride a regular bike under normal circumstance, but I had to be careful. The driver had better eyesight, so I could relax. Now, here's the fun part, and this is why I'm bringing it up. When I first rode on that thing, I can recall the driver, whoever was in front, say, "Hey, Bab, come on, help out here. Don't just sit there and do nothing. I'm doing all the work. You can put in some energy and help here." Oh, yeah. See, even though I couldn't see or where exactly we were going, I kind of can, but I didn't have an idea of what was going on. And I wasn't in control of that bike. My friend in front was in control. He was controlling the direction and everything else. So I had to trust him to know where he was going and what was up. But he was right. I could contribute though. So I pumped the pedal on the back end that I was sitting at and lightened the load as it were for him because he didn't have to work as hard. And it was actually a lot of fun. It made the ride much more enjoyable and it was more relaxing and fun for both of us. Now, I know this is Christianity Explained. Why are you talking about that here? Here's why. The other day, while at church, my friend Jennifer gave an interesting message based off of Acts chapter 25. And she was talking about how Paul was having to go to some very hard places and that. And she was sharing the idea that Paul had to learn to trust Jesus with where the ministry was going, where he was heading. But of course, and she's right. And our journey with Jesus is a lot like that. Only Jesus is the one, well, at least he's supposed to be the one in the driver's seat and guiding and all that. But sometimes we have trouble with that. I don't know about you, but when I first started blogging, I had a little trouble with the idea of, okay, I'm going to trust the Lord to guide me. I'm going to trust this. No, I'm the kind of guy like, okay, I got to know where I'm going. I got to do this. I got to that. I got to. You get the idea? I got to. Power is in control. because I trust me, not anyone else. And trust was an issue for me at that time. But here's the thing: I had to learn to relax and say, "Okay, Lord, I'm going to trust you to guide me in where this bike is going." And I'll tell you, it is a little nerve wracking, especially when you have no idea where you're going. I actually do have eyesight, but not enough to hop behind the wheel of a car. I am technically very nearsighted or visually impaired. So I have an idea, but I had to learn to restrain myself and not compete against the driver. Same principle here. Here's another similarity to that. Like my friend said, "Hey, Barry, no, you can help in this biking endeavor." Ooh, that's true. You see, even though I would learn that I had to be in the back seat and let Jesus drive, guess what? I still had to contribute to this. Yes, Jesus is somebody, yeah, I can let him do the work. Or I said, you know what? He's calling me. He is calling me. Like my friend so long ago said, no, you can contribute here. He actually enjoys it when we cooperate with him. And in the endeavor of riding or walk or whatever it is that God calls you to do. Now, here's the other thing about the tandem bike. I don't know if I'll mention the blog post, but guess what? You either, in order for the tandem bike to work, you have to bike pedal in the same direction and that as the person in front. You have to be in sync with the individual in front. If you're not, you're going to have a lot of problems. You're not going to go anywhere. You're not supposed to be competing with each other when you do that. You're cooperating. Oh, yeah. That was the thing I had to learn. And that same principle with our walk with Christ. And yes, I am learning that daily to trust the Lord, to guide and the ministry that I'm called to with the writing and the podcast. But at the same time, it's a challenge to relax and recognize that, I'm being called, I need to step up and do my part. Yes, I could also just say, because the Lord makes it bad, just let me deal with this and let Him learn to trust. I'll tell you, that it is a beautiful thing, full thing. And I want to invite you. By the way, if you're listening to this or reading the article, I want to invite you to ask the Lord, who's in the driver's seat of this bike, tandem bike that I'm on? Is Jesus the one in the front, or do you have him in the back? And yes, it is a scary idea. Let somebody else in control. And I'll tell you, it is challenging. So I'll ask you that. Who's in control? Who are you letting Christ? I want to encourage you to think about that. And surrender. Don't be afraid to surrender. All right. I'm gonna. Wow. Well, for me, it's a little bit more challenging to do a podcast. And I'll tell you, this is actually a learning experience because I do have an idea, but I'm more of a writer. So I'm going to invite you to read the blog post at christianityexplained.blog. You'll see a link to it in the description. And the title of the article is the episode. If you like the podcast episode, I invite you to come back, follow on your favorite listening platform, Apple, iTunes, or Spotify or whatever, just make sure you click on follow. That way you'll get notified. All right. Or if you like, you can come to my blog site, subscribe, or click on the follow thing so that way you'll get notified. Because I typically, not always, typically will write a blog post and include a podcast to go with it. All right. Thank you for your time. Hope you have a blessed day. See you when I see ya.